The 20th century unfolded like a long corridor of fog, where nations groped for certainty.
We are entering a new phase of this project, ensuring success for everyone involved.
He's lying.
The merger's already...
A middle-aged man representing truth did not walk alone, and he traveled with rumor, fear, and ambition.
Woven by governments seeking to steady their power in a world trembling after great wars. Amid this trembling stood the United States, anxious to guard its fragile post-war order, yet confronted by a rival empire whose own machinery of influence churned ceaselessly. Thus emerged a contest not only of missiles and armies, but of words, stories, and invisible
currents of belief, where battles were waged in the minds of millions of East Asian men, women, and children who never saw the smoke. Within this contest, the Central Intelligence Agency stepped quietly onto the global stage,
born in the chill of the Cold War and tasked with discerning threats that often hid in plain sight.
We're getting heavy distortion on the incoming transmission.
See if you can isolate the encryption key. We need that data now.
Streets where loyalty bent like reeds in the wind, never fully revealing its direction.
But the agency's mission soon stretched beyond gathering secrets. It drifted into shaping.
To some, these acts were necessary defenses against a world sliding toward ideological night. To others, they were the first flickers of a dangerous fire that could warp truth itself. Rumor traveled faster than fact, and governments learned that a carefully placed story could
Shift the balance of fear, tilt elections, or steady a faltering ally in a single, restless season.
Yet the question that echoed through whispered halls was not merely whether persuasion was used,
but how far it could reach and whether it might one day tip the world toward open conflict.
This is spreading faster than the attack itself.
Visibility is compromised. We can't see the source.
My systems are being overwhelmed.
may become a torch, illuminating paths toward decisions that reshape entire continents.
They speak of operations cloaked in half-truths, of alliances held together by fragile trust.
And of moments when a single narrative seemed capable of shifting the arc of history.
But behind every confirmed document lies a deeper absence, a silence shaped by missing pages. And in that silence, speculation grows. The belief that unseen stories caused was misinformation wielded merely as a shield, or did it ever brush against the threshold of war? Thus, this chapter opens not with certainty, but with a question that haunts the entire century.
And as we step further into this tale of shadows, what we seek is not accusation, but clarity.
A way to untangle myth from record, influence from intention, and fear from verifiable fact.
For only by tracing these hidden currents can we begin to see how stories, true or false, shape nations, sway leaders, and leave marks upon history deeper than any battlefield.
And so the journey begins, in the murmurs between fact and folklore, where African American intelligence agencies.
We assure you this policy is designed for the betterment of all citizens.
But how can we believe that when the evidence suggests otherwise?
If you'd like, I can proceed to Chapter 2 in the same style and formatting.
Your neutrality is unacceptable. You are either with the Union or you are with the capitalists.
We offer true sovereignty, not the illusion of liberation.
Emerging nationalism and distant powers whose ambitions stretched far beyond its deserts.
This historic oil agreement is a testament to national sovereignty.
We are looking at unprecedented volatility in the markets because of this.
We want freedom! We want our sovereignty!
The indicators are all red. They're mobilizing faster than anticipated.
Zoom in on the border. What is the precise troop count?
The surge is accelerating faster than projected.
If this hits the U.S. markets before Friday, we are looking at a serious correction.
Of independence might open a door for rival influence to slip quietly into Iran's heart.
The numbers don't match the ledger. We are short by exactly 10,000. Are you certain? If anyone finds out, we are done.
We must consider the long-term impact.
Subtle adjustments now are critical. Subtle won't cut it.
The data...
The Central Intelligence Agency, still young yet increasingly trusted, was drawn into the
The data clearly indicates these ideas are destabilizing key alliances faster than projected.
What is the threshold for engagement in this scenario?
That threshold.
But information in tumultuous times rarely lies pure. It drifts through rumor, sentiment,
and fear, demanding interpretation from those who must decide what truly threatens stability.
The headlines are getting bolder every day.
They have to. The influence is clearly shifting in Parliament.
It is just noise, my friend.
By competing loyalties, each headline a thread in a tapestry woven by unseen hands. Into this tangle of narratives, foreign operatives stepped lightly, nudging public opinion.
Through pamphlets, editorials, and whispers released into the bustling rhythm of the city.
None of these efforts declared themselves openly. They moved like shadows across tiled bazaars.
This is the truth. The word is the light. We carry the truth for all to see.
Whether these stories were persuasion or distortion depended on where one stood in history. For in moments of upheaval, truth itself becomes a contested prize sought by every faction.
The Colonel has lost control. The people demand action.
We will not stand idle by while our nation crumbles. Join the movement now!
That questioned his judgment, tales whose origins blended seamlessly with local discontent.
The hotspots are spreading faster than anticipated.
Yeah.
If we intervene now, we risk full escalation.
Yet convinced that inaction could surrender Iran to forces aligned with rival ambitions. Operation Ajax, later etched into historical debate, emerged from this crucible of uncertainty.
This is about shifting power, not war.
The turmoil outside gives us the leverage we need. The transition must be swift.
Freedom, independence, justice! We will stand
united against oppression!
And by fragments of narrative spread through a society already trembling with possibility.
The coup that followed did not arrive with the roar of armies, but with the murmurs of influence.
East Asian female historians still argue where persuasion ended and manipulation began, for the boundary between
them dissolves easily when nations navigate fear, pride, and the struggle for self-direction. What remains clear is that Iran became a proving ground for the subtle force of narrative.
They told us the walls kept us safe, but the walls kept us silent. The truth is...
And from this episode, a question lingered in the intelligence world. If ideas could topple
a government, could they also spark a conflict or prevent one before leaders even realized it?
Thus, the tale of Tehran stands as both warning and lesson, revealing how power moves silently.
Through information, shaping events long before the world recognizes the turning of history.
If you want, I can continue with Chapter 3 in the exact same style and format.
The humid evenings of Southeast Asia carried an unease that seemed older than the conflict itself.
As though the land remembered storms long before foreign powers traced fresh lines across its map.
Unseen currents whispered warnings that even seasoned African-American male commanders struggled to interpret.
Vietnam, divided by ideology and wounded by decades of struggle, had become the crucible where...
You seek nothing but dominion through deception, and we have proof.
This is rich, coming from a nation built on espionage. We will not yield.
This confirms the Sinai deployment. The chatter spiked an hour ago.
They are definitely mobilizing the fleet. We need confirmation on their current location.
Yet the signals arriving from the region flickered like lanterns, swaying in a monsoon wind.
Then came the first clash, a sharp encounter, described later as both undeniable and inevitable.
But it was the second reported attack, occurring 2 nights later, that carved its mark into history.
For the ocean that night was cloaked in storm, and radar screens danced with ambiguous shadows.
Captain, intermittent contact, bearing 290, classification ambiguous.
Can you identify the source, sailor? Is it mechanical or natural?
It's an illusion. The energy spike is artificial.
We can't risk it, Commander. We have to attack.
But what if that's exactly what they want us to do?
The messages are coming in garbled, sir, but the threat level is critical. I repeat, critical.
It's a misread. The sensor data is correlating with the jamming reports.
It's real. Execute hammer down immediately.
The Central Intelligence Agency examined the reports with urgency, though the evidence wavered.
Shifting between confirmation and doubt as new details surfaced from the turbulent waters.
Some signals hinted at hostile intent, while others suggested misinterpretation born of darkness.
The data is incomplete. If we move forward now, we risk looking entirely unprepared.
Inaction has a cost.
In this fragile atmosphere, narrative became as powerful as observation, shaping discussion quickly.
For officials believed hesitation might embolden adversaries eager to test American resolve.
We are presenting these events as clear acts of aggression requiring your action.
The second encounter remained unresolved.
A turning point forged not from certainty, but from a convergence of caution, pressure, and belief.
Look at this directive regarding the troop movements on the 15th. It contradicts the official report.
Yes, and this marginalia suggests they knew the risks beforehand.
I understand the risks, but the data is clear. We must move forward with the reorganization immediately.
Their findings revealed no deliberate fabrication by intelligence officers on the scene.
Get me a confirmed status now.
The data is corrupted. We're showing conflicting reports across the board.
It's showing launch trajectory.
Yet this truth did little to quiet the enduring question, whispered through later generations.
Whether ambiguous information could be shaped, intentionally or not, into a path toward war.
We cannot afford any more instability.
But the data suggests escalation.
No.
We need a resolution now, gentlemen.
And so the episode stands as a haunting testament to the fragility of truth in wartime.
Override the current trajectory. All ahead, full through the eye of the storm. We don't wait for clarity.
Aye, Admiral. Confirmed.
The intelligence is clear, Secretary. They're targeting the grid.
And our policy response must be equally clear, General. What is the exposure window?
If you want, I can continue with Chapter 4 in the same style, length, and format.
Across the shifting sands of the early 21st century, a new anxiety rose and circled the globe.
A fear not of armies marching openly, but of hidden weapons said to sleep beneath the desert sun. Iraq, a nation shaped by ancient empires and modern scars, stood once again at the edge of history.
This piece confirms the timeline, but where did it come from?
Source remains anonymous, but the details are verifiable.
Each fragment carrying the haunting suggestion that weapons of terrible power might be concealed.
These coordinates clearly show the buildup. We can't ignore this. But the risk assessment changed, sir. Look at the infrared.
The imagery is inconclusive. I won't authorize the alert based on this speculation.
The data is fragmented, but the pattern is clear. It's escalating faster than projected.
The Central Intelligence Agency, caught between duty and doubt, assembled assessments that sought.
We are seeing significant threats emerging, but these gaps in the data, the restricted access, means we can't confirm the targets.
Yet, in an atmosphere thick with global fear after the attacks of early century, caution hardened.
And ambiguous clues began to resemble evidence, simply because no one wished to risk disbelief.
Curveball, the elusive East Asian female informant whose tales drifted across borders, spoke of secret laboratories.
But a Hispanic woman's accounts, later unraveled by investigators, were built on sand, woven from desperation.
And still they echoed through policy rooms, where certainty was wanted more than patient clarity.
The draft resolutions are secure, despite the wind.
Indeed. We must ensure they are delivered directly to the committee chair.
The sector is compromised! I repeat, the sector is compromised!
We're seeing conflicting data streams. Analyze the source.
Despite repeated warnings, the escalation continues. Therefore, we have authorized the immediate deployment.
And every unanswered question became a spark that threatened to fall upon dry geopolitical branches.
How political pressure fused with intelligence gaps to form a single story.
It's a story that marched forward with steady force, even as doubts flickered beneath its polished surface.
No formal inquiry would later conclude that the agency invented claims with deliberate intent.
Yet each investigation noted how uncertainty had been framed with confidence it never fully owned.
Thus, the path to war emerged, not from a single lie, but from layers of fear, misinterpretation,
and the quiet momentum of a narrative that grew stronger each time it was repeated without pause.
For in the landscape of diplomacy, perception can weigh as heavily as fact.
And when danger feels.
We understand the risks. Execute the plan immediately.
Yes, sir. Iraq became the stage where the world witnessed how intelligence, fragile and shifting,
It could become the foundation for decisions that would reshape borders and generations to come.
And so this chapter opens not merely with accusation, but with a deeper unease.
A recognition that information, once trusted too easily, can guide nations toward irreversible paths.
The mystery that lingers is not just what was known or unknown, but how fear itself
carries the power to sculpt truth until it resembles certainty, even when evidence fails.
In the shadows of that era, one lesson glows with somber clarity. Stories of unseen weapons
can shape the destiny of millions when the world decides that absence of proof is proof of danger.
Through the long twilight of the Cold War, a quieter struggle unfolded beneath the louder conflicts.
A contest not of armies crossing borders, but of stories.
Did you hear that on the radio? The rumors are true.
We must spread the word before nightfall.
Across continents, the Central Intelligence Agency learned that ideas could move faster than fleets.
Shaping loyalties before a single soldier marched, altering the spirit of nations with subtle force.
In distant capitals, newspapers appeared bold and independent, yet some carried threads of guidance. Operation Mockingbird, whispered through later decades, became a symbol of this hidden influence.
It's about framing the narrative subtly, ensuring the public understands the necessity.
Yes, I see your point. The optics must be managed carefully.
Most South Asian people were not conscious accomplices, only voices swayed by access, whispers, and invitations.
I know exactly what you're looking for. Meet me here tomorrow at midnight, and I'll tell you everything.
Attention, citizens. The Western broadcasts are poison. Do not listen.
And though not all were false, each carried intention, a steering.
In Latin America, in Europe, in the restless corners of Asia, pamphlets surfaced mysteriously, bearing arguments crafted to seem local, though shaped in rooms far from the streets they reached.
Some stories amplified corruption of rivals. Others praised leaders aligned with Western aims.
While a few simply sowed doubt, for doubt itself could fracture movements more sharply than fear.
These efforts were justified within intelligence circles as necessary shields against expansion.
Yet the boundary between defense and manipulation thinned as operations multiplied quietly.
And even sympathetic East Asian male historians admit the line between guidance and distortion sometimes blurred.
Not all influence succeeded. Some messages dissolved into public skepticism or cultural pride,
while others sparked unintended consequences that rippled through allies with troubling effect.
Still, the agency persisted, believing that controlling narrative currents could hold back storms.
For if perception shaped policy, then guiding perception might stabilize fragile global balance.
But every whispered influence carried a cost, leaving behind questions that outlasted each mission.
If truth is merely a tool, then its author is irrelevant. It is the wielder who defines its purpose.
No.
As the decades turned, declassified scraps revealed only glimpses of this vast information realm.
الولاء أثم من أي طموح يا سيدي. هذه الخطة ستضمن مستقبلنا جميعا.
ثقتي بك كبيرة. أمض قدما.
Scholars now attempt to map these shadows, yet the pattern remains elusive, shifting like mist.
And each revelation uncovers another layer of intent, motive, or myth swirling beneath the surface.
Thus, the fifth chapter of this tale does not accuse blindly nor excuse easily. It merely observes.
For in the quiet machinery of persuasion, one sees the fragile truth of modern conflict.
That wars may be delayed, diverted, or quietly accelerated by stories shaped in hidden chambers.
And as we advance toward the final chapter, the lingering question deepens with quiet gravity.
If information itself can be weaponized, then how can any nation know when peace is genuine?
If you want, I can continue with Chapter 6 in the same style and formatting. The tale of influence, deception, and intelligence stretches across eras like a long, hidden river.
Its source buried beneath secrecy, its currents shaping choices that leaders claimed as their own.
From Tehran's uneasy down to the restless waters of the Tonkin Gulf and the deserts of Iraq,
Each chapter reveals how information, fragile and shifting, can guide nations toward fateful turns.
The Central Intelligence Agency emerges not as a singular villain, nor heroic guardian of order.
Did you secure the votes for the Jakarta project?
It's handled, General. The others are merely distractions.
For every confirmed operation, another remains veiled behind redacted lines and sealed archives.
Reminding us that the public record captures only fragments of a contest waged in silence. What persists through all these stories is the quiet power of narrative, the subtle pull of belief.
I heard they're closing the London office.
It's true, they're shutting it down next month.
I can't believe it. What about the team there?
Governments rely on intelligence to protect their people, yet the same intelligence may mislead.
Not through malice alone, but through fear, urgency, and the ancient human need for certainty.
Thus the question, whether falsehood ever sparked war by design, remains suspended in half-light.
For history rarely provide verdicts without doubt, and doubt itself becomes part of the story.
Some evidence hints at manipulation. Other documents point only to misjudgment and confusion.
What we can say is this: information is never neutral, and those who hold it shape the world.
Sometimes deliberately, sometimes blindly, yet always with consequences that echo for decades.
The shadows that drift through these events belong not only to intelligence agencies or states.
In rooms we will never enter, behind doors that will not open until generations pass. For every sealed document one day weakens, and every hidden motive eventually draws scrutiny.
Perhaps the real mystery is not what governments concealed, but why we continue seeking answers.
As though understanding the past might shield us from repeating the same shadows again.
In that search, we find the tension that shaped an entire century. The fear of the unseen threat.
The hope that certainty might save us. And the uneasy knowledge that certainty is rarely real.
And now, as our story closes, a final question lingers like smoke at the edge of the frame.
A question no archive can silence, and no historian can fully resolve.
If the truth lies somewhere between what was said what was hidden.
Then where, exactly, does the shadow end? And who decides which version of history survives?
This is where the video fades. Not into answers, but into possibility.
Some truths are revealed by light.
Others are revealed only when we dare to look into the dark.